One Tree Hill, obviously.
Yeah.
The Jake and Peyton of it all.
Right.
Why do you think so many fans have rallied around that relationship?
I think Jake was a very likable character. And I think, you know, the fact that he was like a single father who played guitar and like had a secret, it's just like impossible not to like that guy. He always came in with like this sage advice for the other characters. He just felt kind of like wise and comforting. So I think the audience felt that. And then also I wasn't a regular on that show. I would like come and go. So it's like, you kind of like it when you're not oversaturated, you know, because like leaves the audience wanting more. So I think maybe that's that, because I wasn't a full-timer. They want more, you know?
Had there been discussions of like, if you had stayed longer term, of like what that would have looked like?
Well, it was tricky because like I was doing the show and I was dying to be a regular, and then I got another show with called Unscripted with George Clooney that was directing, and I was like, well, with HBO, I'm like, well, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like 25, 24 years old. Like, come on, that seems like the move. And so yeah, but then I did Prime, and then I came back and did One Tree Hill, did a couple episodes, but I was getting offers to have my own series and that kind of thing. So I just really needed to like. I needed to do that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't regret it. Like I came back, and I feel like I gave the audience, you know, I fulfilled that part of the story and the character. But I just, as an artist, I wanted to do other projects.
Yeah. Would you consider coming back for the revival if it happened?
Yeah, I don't know if that's real, but sure, I'd consider it.
Yeah. We'll move on to Prime.
Okay.
When I learned
That's
it was
crazy
20 years, it's really crazy to think about.
That is crazy.
Was that like your first rom-com? Or first like,
yeah,
lead
kind
rom-com?
of. Yeah, it was like my first leading man role, I guess you could say. That was one of my favorite films I've ever done. I got to work with the incomparable Meryl Streep and Uma Thurman. And Ben Younger, who was the writer-director. I love that movie. I think it holds up. Still so proud of it to this day. Can't say that about everything I've done, but with that one, for sure.
Yeah. What was it like? Did you have, I'm assuming you had to do like a chemistry with Uma. Like,
you want to know something funny? I actually didn't do a chemistry with Uma. I did it with Sandra Bullock, who was attached to it. And then I think something happened. I don't know, I have no idea. But right before filming, she had to drop out. And then Uma came in and saved the movie, really. And so I didn't get to meet her until she already signed on, and we were like days before shooting. So I was just so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and just like thrown into this crazy world. So there was a lot happening at once, but I mean, I thought our chemistry on screen was great.
Yeah. Fans of this movie always talk about the ending, that final sort of look between them.
Yeah.
How do you interpret that sort of final look between Robbie and David?
I think it's an acknowledgement of the time they had together and the place in their life that they were, but that's not where they're going. And it was just like a beautiful nod to like, it's I think Meryl says it in there. It's like you love and you move on, you know, sometimes. And it doesn't always last forever. And I think that's what it is, you know. It's just like an acknowledgement of like, we had a nice moment together, no hard feelings. We're going to go on our journeys now.
Oh, when he's like moving.
I know.
It's so sad.
I know.
It's very like La La Land-esque of like in another world.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like sliding doors. Like maybe if they were the same age or, you know, whatever, you know. I don't know.
October Road, which was in 2007, you know, obviously the Nick and Hannah relationship was at the center of that.
Right.
I mean, sort of, I know it was short-lived, but like what you and Laura created was really special.
Yeah, and the whole cast, that was, I still, to this day, is one of my favorite ensembles I've ever been a part of. I loved, like, the feeling of that show was so warm and cozy and New England, and like, I don't know, I just like, I get like, warm feelings every time I think about that show and that cast and working with those writers, and it was awesome. Like I really enjoyed working on that show.
The Nick and Hannah of it all, like that was, you know, we sort of see them sort of get that sort of.
Yeah, there's some closure there.
There is some closure there.
Yeah.
One of my favorite rom-coms of all time is Bride Wars.
Great,
I love that movie. I could watch it endless. You know.
Yeah.
It's a wild rom-com because
it's crazy.
The two friends are going at it all over a plaza wedding, which I mean, it's kind of out of realm of many people's possibilities. What was that like, just being thrown in there with Kate and like Steve Howey? Like
Howie's hilarious. Chris Pratt was hilarious. Annie Hathaway was awesome to work with, and Kate Hudson's like so funny and so great. And they produced it, and they were very inviting, and we had so much fun doing that. We shot it in Boston and in New York. Yeah, and it's playing in every nail salon to this day.
Friends with Benefits.
Oh right, yes. What else?
You did a lot of
I've done my fair share.
You played Parker, who was Mila Kunis's boyfriend. Not the best guy in the end.
No, not the best guy.
But you rarely play a bad guy.
Which is fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the bad guys are way more fun to play. Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah. After the 5 days.
But you need to have a dick in the rom-com so that she ends up with the person that she's supposed to be with.
Yeah.
So I was the foil, you know? I was the guy who stared at trees, the doctor who stared at trees.
Yeah.
And then I tried to ghost her after sleeping with her.
Yeah. And that movie still, like, to this day, I mean, people sort of, they fight over which one's better between that and No Strings Attached. But
I know.
It's like,
yeah.
I mean, why can't we just enjoy them both? Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's so funny, like, Hollywood... Yeah, we'll always just put two of the same thing out at the same time. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's weird how the universe works.
2015, you did a movie with your wife.
Oh, yeah.
Already Tomorrow in Hong Kong. I mean, was that something that you guys worked on together?
Yeah.
Like, planned to do together?
We produced that film as well with the writer-director Emily Ting, who I've worked with in previous films, independent films. And she sent us the script to read it, and we kind of read it one day, the two of us, and we're like, we think there's something here, and we worked with her on some notes and for a few months, and we got the script to a place where we were going to do it. And we're kind of like, do we do this? Like, should we do this movie together? And I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? It's independent film. If it's bad, nobody sees it. If it's good, like, there's like no risk, and we get to go to Hong Kong and go shoot a movie while we're engaged. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be such a great experience, and that I'd say it's one of the few independent films that I've been involved in that's like been very successful and has been seen by a mass audience and all over the world. And yeah, I'm very proud of that movie. Yeah, I like that movie a lot. And I got to work with Jamie, who's the best.
I was gonna say, you know, obviously you were engaged at the time. How did it feel to sort of like capture a certain moment in your relationship? I know you're playing characters.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. And this is Jamie's idea. She wanted to get separate apartments while we were shooting, which was very smart, by the way, because it's like you want to build a little mystery and romance, and if we're around each other all the time and like working together and, you know, sleeping in the same bed, it can be a little too much.
Yeah.
Also, like the NBA playoffs were on at the time, and I would like wake up at 4 in the morning in Hong Kong and like watch that, and I was like, thank God I have my own room because she would kill me.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice. So we had to like kind of get to know each other. Like we wouldn't talk until we showed up on set.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Smart.
Yeah.
Good for Jamie.
Yeah.
Would you guys ever consider doing like another kind of romance film or something?
Oh,
like
yeah.
that?
I mean, I always say I love Jamie. I think she's like my mother of my children and my wife. So, of course, I love her. But as an actress, I love her. I think she's fantastic. And when I directed Junction, she was in that film as well. And I think she's so, like, I would work with her any chance I get, for sure. I don't know if she feels the same way, but I feel that way.
Why not? And like,
she's sick of me at this point.
In 2016, you did the Mindy Project.
Yes.
I started the Mindy Project.
Yes.
The Ben and Mindy relationship.
Yeah.
That
was fraught. It was fraught.
Yeah.
Well, Ben and Mindy, like, they tried, you know?
Yeah.
It just wasn't the right pairing. And they were totally opposites, you know? And I think that's what Mindy needed or thought she needed, but then she realized that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Ben was a little bit of a rebound. You know?
Obvious, yeah.
Yeah. But I liked their relationship because Ben was so authentic and real, and Mindy was so neurotic and crazy, and he kind of balanced her out in a weird way. I loved working with them. I think they're so talented. I love Running Point, what they're doing over there with Kate, and it's like so funny. And like Barinholtz and Dave Sasson and Mindy, I think they're just like some of the funniest, nicest people in Hollywood.
Yeah, we need to get you on Running Point.
I would love that.
Point.
I love that show.
Like,
let's go.
Get you and Annie on there, or Chris
Let's go.
Pratt, Steve Howey, something. We can make this happen.
If you can make it happen.
Like a rival basketball team.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, that would be funny. But like being sort of like the other guy to like Chris Messina's character,
Right.
like, you know, that's coming into an established show.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know Chris. Like, I was kind of friends with Chris, and I texted him like, "Hey man, I'm gonna be on your show," and he's like, "Oh no, I'm not on it." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't realize. I thought we were gonna be working together, but I'm kind of displacing.
Right.
I didn't get that. But so it was bummed because I think he's fantastic. I really wanted to work with him. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard to come into a show that was already in its 5th season, and like they had their way of doing things. It was like a moving train, and you just kind of have to like. It was, and also I wasn't used to doing comedy at the time. I was very new to comedy, and I was nervous about comedy. Now I feel way more comfortable, and I love doing comedy.
Yeah.
But I was definitely on my heels at the beginning of the season for that with doing comedy, and towards the end I was on my toes. Like I was ready to go back and forth with Ike and improv, and it was like we were finding it. You know, I gained my confidence.
Totally.
On that show.
I mean,
my comedic confidence.
Working with like a comedy, you know, queen.
Yeah,
like
well, that
Mindy.
can be intimidating if you don't come from that world, you know. So I was a little intimidated, but I feel like I feel like I got there.
You did.
Yeah.
And now you're in Suits LA, which is a drama, but there is
Is
some.
it? I don't know. Is it a drama? Drama-ish.
Yeah. But there is some romantic tension.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So Rick and Erica, that sort of push-pull. Will they, won't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of diving into that and sort of like a slow burn.
Yeah, what's cool, I guess it's a little different because usually you'll like see couples coming together. This is interesting because it's like, oh, we realized they were together in the past, and it's like, how are they working or not working together? It's been really fun to play, and also Lex Scott Davis is fantastic, and she's such a star, and I'm so happy to be working with her, and we have great chemistry. Like that's how I got the job, is we did a chemistry read, and it was like awesome, you know. So I think this season's fun. We're gonna definitely get into that storyline.
I was gonna say, you probably already answered this, but will there be sort of like, we'll get answers?
You're gonna get some answers
about what's happened.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. It's too good not to.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. That's a great storyline.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it.
I sort of love the established history, but like you don't know what that history is.
And I didn't know what it was as an actor until like I got the episodes later. I was like, oh, so that's what happened.
That always blows my mind.
Me
that
too.
I'm like, when the actors don't know exactly what happens, and it's like you're playing this person.
Yeah, I know, but it's like writers don't know at the time, so they can't tell you. That's the difference between movies and TV. It's like it's an ongoing, changing, living thing, whereas movies are like finite. You know beginning, middle, and end. You can know how to arc a character.
Yeah.
It's just as an actor, you have to be a little bit more open and just versatile. You know.
Yeah.